Welcome to A Moment with Modern Mentors.
Hi, I'm Alison.
And I'm Jason.
And we're the founders of Tropalicious, an online gifting company with a difference. And today we're talking with Mia from the Digital Collective.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Thanks for the invite.
So tell us a little bit about Tropalicious. How did you come up with the idea?
So Tropalicious is, it's a fresh and zesty new approach to gift boxing. We think it's quite different, and we really sort of stepped back and looked at what we felt were some of the challenges and pain points in the gifting market, and really sort of kicked around ways that we think that we could solve it with some solutions. So we've come up with something that's quite unique. It's certainly not like any other gifting box company that we're aware of.
Yeah, I think probably as the name suggests, we're full of personality, and the boxes are full of personality, and how we gift the boxes is based around the science of personality. So
How did you know that you were onto something good? You've done a bit of research, haven't you? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if we sort of wind back a little bit, Alison has had her own graphic design business for a while, and we decided that sort of long-term, Alison wanted to sort of get into producing products and not just having a service side to her business. And there's been a couple of products that Alison's got in development at the moment that are going really well. When that was sort of all evolving, but this was going to be the year that we were really going to take those products forward in a big way. We sort of tested them out over a couple of years, and Alison joined a great
business school.
Yeah, a great business school.
Yeah, it was an online business school. It was
the
Marie Forleo B School.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so basically, I think even though I've run a business for 20 years, I've never analysed it in a business setup sense or development and growth sense. I guess I've naturally been lucky with word of mouth and just, for 20 years. So it's something that I really wanted to look into. And I started that on my wall organisation products with my designs, and COVID hit. And so manufacturing locally, manufacturing overseas became really challenging. And then obviously with the flower farm with COVID, freight and logistics became really challenging. So we just sat down and we thought, maybe this is the time for Tropalicious.
Which had already been brewing for a while.
Yeah, it had been.
So it was a culmination of kind of moments in time as well as opportunity.
Yeah, I think it was just sort of pushed forward, just brought to the forefront.
Right.
Yeah.
You've created some products, Alison. Tell us a little about those and how that kind of spurred on the idea of Tropalicious.
I think that, like Jason said, I sort of want to move from a service-based business, which is me being at the computer, hourly rate, into a products-based, so that I can, be generating something that allows me a little bit more freedom. So obviously design is my natural, skill and talent. So I developed a range of wall organisational tools, which are three elements. They're wood, they're paper, and they're ink. And basically I designed a curved wood wall hook, which has monthly boards and a calendar at the top, notepad at the side, and your organisation board. So for a family, keeping everyone on the same page, literally seeing where you're at. We had kids with work commitments, they had sport commitments, everyone was all over the shop. So basically I design up, print my paper element. You keep the wood element, so that's a keeper. It's something that you invest in, and that's your every year. And each year you just replace and recycle your paper element, and the new design comes. And ink is you inking it, so you basically are part of that. So there's wall planners, there's calendars, there's the notepad. So that was an Eye for Ink range, and that's probably something that a few of those base philosophies, we wanted keeping items of value, we wanted design.
Tactile.
We wanted tactile, we wanted the elements that are functional, that solve a problem. So they were all elements that the Tropalicious idea and ethos that we had, but we wanted with Tropalicious obviously to start with something fresh, which was our flowers or our plants, and then put an amazing item from Australian businesses in there that was a great solution based or a keeper, something of real quality, that sort of basically, sort of more told a story. I guess the boxes are full of items that sort of come together as a story.
Yes, tell us a little bit about some of the brands that you've got on board, because you're very much focusing on kind of the environment, on fitness, on health, on lifestyle, and all Australian products. Tell us a bit about how hard that might have been, or how you came to that.
It was actually a lot easier than we thought, to be honest.
Yeah, that was one thing that we thought would be
we expected that to be a really hard challenge, to sort of seek out these, as you said, we're certainly a value-based organisation. We do want sustainable products that are earth-friendly, that are, just being kind to Mother Earth at the end of the day. We thought if we're starting from scratch, that should just be one of the key pillars of our business. And it was actually really refreshing to see that as we were approaching people, with our concept and what we're all about and the approach that we're going to take to giftboxing. I think out of a bit over 50 different product providers, we've had 2 knockbacks at the moment, and those knockbacks are really based around...
Yeah, one was COVID-based due to stock,
unavailability,
and one was just that they were doing so well they're not taking on new partners. So,
which is fine.
Amazing. Well, yeah, we're high five.
That's right.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I think, that you touched on the fact that Tropalicious is kind of a gift box with a difference, and obviously that is very much a part of that, right? Because there is nothing on the market that really shows those. Tell us some of the topics of the gift boxes, because these are quite innovative and interesting to me, and I'm sure the listeners too.
We have worked out 5 collections. So we're all about, being a bit more tactile. So there's a Creative Genius collection, which one of them has a ukulele in it, and, basically set down the technology and totally immerse yourself in, some quality me time, I guess. And then of the other part of that range is a macrame, a jigsaw puzzle, and sort of, adult colouring, all that downtime just to have a bit of quiet, a little bit of space, I think, in your life.
So really boxes focused on the recipient being able to indulge themselves a little bit in things that maybe they ordinarily wouldn't, which feels like it's going to be launching at a perfect time where people are pretty frazzled and kind of stressed and worried and, tired. It sounds like something that, is very much a needed item for now. Is this part of it? Was COVID, obviously you mentioned before that COVID kind of prompted you to get on board, but did you anticipate that this would be something that was going to be so welcomed?
No, not really. No, I think that's kind of just a sideline to, we were going to do this regardless. It was just the timing of it all. I think one thing that, our boxes are, as you say, Mia, they're very, very purposeful in their design. We focused on, there's actually a bit of science behind the background to it all. We've really got some sort of psychology-based tools that really help us to work out and focus on that, that recipient-centric approach to gifting. So we're taking that hassle away from the person buying and the guesswork for them.
And the legwork and the hard work.
Yeah.
All the anxiety points.
Yeah, but we're taking away that message of will the recipient actually like what I'm getting them? And that's in all of our research that we did a bunch of different surveys. That was one of 3 really important messages that we got out, that people do feel a little bit anxious about spending a fair bit of coin on a present and thinking, well, are they actually going to like it?
Yeah. Well, I get a thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to be a mind reader.
Yeah.
That was sort of the crux of that element.
Absolutely. So we've spent a fair bit of time developing a fun and intuitive quiz that helps to take people on a journey when they're, looking for recommendations for gifts. And at the end of that, we will have a profile of the recipient that really categorizes into 5 different personality types. And when you mix that with a sprinkle of likes and dislikes and all of the other elements, you get a really good picture about what somebody, or what other people like the person that you're buying a gift for really like and enjoy.
You're going to have a really nice profile of the recipient that you're sending to, aren't you?
Yeah. It's been really interesting, even with our testing. Just seeing seeing the results come through, and
everyone's always interested in the outcome. Is that me and profiling themselves, or a partner, or a friend?
It's a bit like star signs, isn't it?
It is,
And no doubt, personality quizzes are quite a popular thing on the net. But the flip on this is that you're not profiling yourself; you're profiling somebody else, and so the outcome of that, has a real purpose at the end.
Yeah, I think what I like about this, and it's called Gift Matcher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's you've named it as a tool on your website. Is that you really get that involvement, like you say, about people being able to find the perfect gift and have this assurance that what they're sending is going to be received, hopefully with joy. Tell us a bit about the other tools that you're also launching with.
Yeah, sure. So really, there's 3 tools. There's Gift Matcher, Gift Reminder, and Gift Together. So Gift Matcher, as we said, is our profiling tool. Gift Reminder is really tackling the second issue that we discovered, and that is people really don't want to forget those important occasions.
This is one for the men.
Absolutely. This is just one for me, really. But, in all seriousness, though, we did, we really hit a nerve with people when, we said, well, what if we built a little reminder app that allowed you to put in all the important people in your life, nominate the important dates and occasions that you need to think about getting a gift for them, and we'll send you a little nudge, 10 days out, letting you know, don't forget it's coming up. So it's a free service. It's a really simple service, but we think it'll be really valuable for people.
Oh, look, I mean, if Moonpig's anything to go by, this is going to be an absolute winner, isn't it? Because you're absolutely right. There's, friends and family all over the world, and birthdays just popping up, and suddenly it's the day before, and you run out of time to send a gift. Whereas this way, you're going to give people plenty of time to actually think about the right gift, and you've done the hard work for them. So that's fantastic. And then you said the third one is Gift Together, which I think this is actually ingenious, because obviously one of the things that is the biggest struggle is trying to get everyone to find the perfect gift for a group present.
Yeah, so this is targeting exactly that group gift buying situation where, think of buying the teacher a present at the end of the year, or the coach of a sporting group,
girlfriend group, or parents with siblings,
all of that. So what we've done is we sat down and thought about it, and thought, well, what if there's always an organizer in all of these groups. There's always one person that puts their hands up and says, I'll find the gift. So we're giving the opportunity for somebody to find the gift, be the organizer, pop in the email addresses or mobiles of all the people that are part of the group that want to contribute. Then we do all the management of splitting all of the costs associated with the gift into equal payments for everybody. We have sub orders that are generated. Everybody pays their share, and then we do all of the handling and shipping the product out. So it's a really seamless, easy way of doing that gift buy without having to go and tap people on the shoulder and say, hey, you still owe me $20. Can we sort that out?
And I mean, you're absolutely right. You hit on the head for things like teachers' gifts at the end of the year. I mean, that the gift card has become kind of the teacher's gift, and it's really, it's a fairly nothing gift, a gift box full of amazing Australian products that can be divided between the whole class and paid for separately. It's just a fantastic solution.
Yeah.
It solves a lot of problems out there, doesn't it?
And we are not a a standard price sort of $100, $150 gift box. We are an expensive item filled with value, and so it's really perfect to to have a gift that that is a really, quite a substantial, valuable gift. We're talking a 5 kilo box that's, 60 plus centimeters in length alone. So, filled with goodies. So to allow people to chip in on that, we think is a great way of giving a valuable gift.
Well, tell us a little bit about your journey here, because you have both had interesting backgrounds to lead you to this. And obviously you just mentioned earlier about the flower farm. Tell us a bit about where you started and how you ended up on the flower farm and doing Tropalicious and what brought that all together.
Yeah, as I said, I'm a graphic designer. So I started my business over 20 years ago, and I've had a wonderful journey on that. I've had staff and fantastic projects and the like. And then suddenly we lost my mum to a horrible aggressive cancer in 2010. And I think that made us just take a big deep breath and have a little look at, where we were headed and what we were doing. Jason was working hard. He'd leave when it was dark and the kids were in bed, and he'd get home when it was dark and the kids were in bed, and we had sort of, young kids at the time, and it just felt like we were working too hard for, there was no work-life balance for us. So we just were definitely both on the same page that something had to give. So we literally wrote a list. We wrote a list of, all right, what do you want? I went, I want somewhere warm. What do you want? Well, I don't want to work weekends. What do you want? Well, I want somewhere that's big enough, schools and sports for the kids. And, well, I want this. And it ended up being a tropical flower farm in Cairns.
How did you find a tropical flower farm?
We searched and searched for ages. We looked at a lot of businesses.
It was a 2-year process.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a
and we were, if we didn't find something, we were literally packing the kids up for the trip around Australia to find something anyway. So it was the change was inevitable for us, and the turning point had happened, and we wanted that. We wanted to have staff so that we could have holidays. We wanted not to have so many staff that's all we were managing. There was lots of things on our list, and
for some crazy reason.
The flower farm ticked the majority of the boxes, but as Jason said, it's like the movie We Bought a Zoo. We are that person.
They're going to make a documentary about you.
We did not know a soul in Cairns. We sold and moved everything in our entire life.
Yeah.
So
we didn't know even how to pronounce a lot of the products.
We were Googling.
We were having florists calling us up saying, have you got any of the, Marginata or blah, blah, blah. And we were like, I'm sure we do.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah.
And so the flower farm, it's a wholesale business predominantly, and you've transitioned it into a consumer business too?
So it's both. So we're one of probably the 3 biggest tropical flower growers in Australia. We've got over 700,000 plants here that we have over a 12-acre property. And there's kind of 3 key markets, I guess. There is our florist market. So we send a lot of flowers direct to florists all over Australia. And that taught us a lot about logistics. So sending small boxes of fresh product door to door anywhere across the country. We've really, I think we've really sort of focused on that. And we're one of the only commercial flower growers doing that on the scale that we're doing it. We also sell direct to wholesalers in large, flower markets around the country, and we also go door to door to consumers. So we import products from Singapore and Thailand as well. We import Singapore orchids, so that's another logistical sort of part of the products that we offer. So. And
was that business established when you bought it? So you've taken it and you've learnt that business, and then now obviously. Applied it to Tropalicious's business model.
Yeah, that's right. So we, with my background in TV and media and in that sort of digital space, which you've no doubt lived in as well, we just saw the opportunity of trying to convert more of our product sales into that direct to consumer market with a better margin. And yes, it also means a lot more. you know, a lot more customer service and a lot more marketing and a lot more, you know, so there's other sides to it. Certainly there's pros and cons about whether you sort of stick in that wholesale world or whether you sort of go direct or not. But we thought that it was something that our skill set worked really well with, especially, so Alison did a whole new rebrand of Tropical Blooms and, you know, and, you know, really sort of, I guess, just pulled it into a new...
Add a lot of value to what was already established as a business.
Yeah.
You haven't really told us much about where you've come from, Jason. And I know your background, where you actually worked together in a previous life in the music industry. But tell us a little bit about, you know, your journey to Tropical Blooms and Tropalicious.
Good question. So I grew up on a broadacre farm in central New South Wales, and then went and studied sound engineering at university, and that's where I met Alison.
Take the boy out of the country. Country out of the boy.
So yeah, we decided to make Sydney home together, and that journey.
Were you at uni in Sydney?
No, in Wagga.
Yeah, Wagga, okay.
Yeah. So Sydney was a big deal for us, just to, you know,
experience.
You know, I turned up in a classic Holden Ute.
The Aussie.
Yeah, it was sort of like, you know, thongs and ruggers and getting sort of weird looks as we were sort of parking on the grass to unload our first load of furniture, you know, at a flat that we you know, that we had trouble finding. So anyway, it was a journey, that's for sure. But yeah, I started in a digital special effects and post-production company called Garner McLennan. And that was right at the start of the 90s. And, you know, they were right at the cutting edge of 3D animation and, you know, working on Super Bowl commercials and all sorts of things. And I just lucked in.
Wow.
You know, they were, it was 7 years of just an amazing learning curve for me. And during that time, I did audio production, but I also got heavily involved in a new arm of the business, which was interactive media. So they had a sort of documentary and long form media production arm. So that sort of evolved into doing a lot of interactive media tools and games, and we won some Australian Interactive Media Industry Awards. We were sort of best of best in 93 and 94, I think, on products. And so it was a really, you know, when I left, I was a director of the company, and we had about 60 staff just in the interactive division. So it was a pretty big growth pretty quickly. So from there, I worked at, you know, Village and 10 in a joint venture. I worked with Optus for 7 years, heading up all of their product managers for all of their online properties, including interactive television, mobile, and web. And then I transitioned from the telecommunication world, where I was licensing a lot of third-party content, to being one of those third-party content providers in Warner Music, helping them with that digital transformation that was happening at the time of, as you know, very well, moving from that physical CDs to the digital world. So so that was, it was a sort of a journey that I would never have ever mapped out for myself, but it's just kind of the way it worked.
I guess, you know, all those skills really have set you up to be able to build a digital business and a direct-to-consumer business. And obviously all these tools that you've just described, you know, very much come from, you know, a brain that's able to understand both consumer but technology and how those things work together, which obviously when you know, bundle with that creative side that Alison's bringing to the table is kind of, you've got the magic, right?
Yeah, that's the good mix, I think.
Yeah, we're different, but we're similar. We complement each other. Jason's definitely our big picture person, which is good. Makes me think, you know, dream bigger, and I'm the more detailed person, which, you know, makes the thing, you know, lots of things happen and
makes it blow
yeah, exactly. Raining in. So yeah, we're sort of, I think that we work in that way together. That's for sure.
And so you're launching Tropalicious in October, which is actually coming up very soon.
Yes, we're aware.
Tell us what's involved in launching an online retail business. How did you know, tell us the steps to get there and you know, what it takes to actually do this.
Yeah.
I think we sum it up with eating the elephant one bite at a time. We're just, some of it's so new to us. Some of it's so familiar to us. So creating a brand, creating, the products, the packaging, the, style guide, all of that was easy.
You've done that through your
done.
career for a lot of other people.
So that was fun. Like, I was great. I could picture it before it even happened, which is great for me. Finding the products, like Jason said, was actually a surprise to us. We thought that would be more challenging, which was another validation that we were onto something. Everyone's response was, "Oh, we need this so much. We'd love to be part of something so different. We love what you're doing." And then obviously Jason knows websites. We know building technology, but a lot of what we don't know are all these tiny little, like your day that you start out with and your list never ends up being that list. It's ever evolving and ever changing, and there's always something that you didn't think about that we just go, okay, I'll do that, or you do that. Like, we just keep adapting and changing and keep your eye on the prize, which is October for us. And we just focused still on, wonderful blind optimism at this stage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's one of those, especially even with the B School activity that Al did, I think we've really benefited from that in having a framework for something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to the little things, like even, we've got a mantra that we follow, which is just eliminate, automate, and delegate. And
and it's just, all those little things,
like
we're really progress over perfection. Just keep going. Like, something there's better than nothing there.
And with these,
sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, sometimes it's just a reminder of those statements. Like, they're so obvious.
Yeah.
When people say them, but if you do say it enough, you do start acting in that manner. And so we're certainly doing that. Like, even from a delegation point of view, we've got people working in Alabama, in Croatia, we've got crews in India.
Lovely Sydney.
Yes, Sydney. Yeah. We've got Liv, our copywriter, I think, is also in Sydney. We've got an animator who's actually not that far away from us, but we've still only ever
haven't met her.
No.
So that is actually awesome.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed that. Like we've got a community that that is.
And I think that is one thing actually that across the board, COVID does seem to have really energized for people. That the fact that there is no boundary with being able to deal with people wherever they are, and you can almost have a physical relationship, present relationship over Zoom, strangely enough, because you do get that face-to-face time, which really gives you, that kind of, I guess, understanding of each other's feelings and responses and reactions that you probably don't get by email, and definitely not, by a text or phone even.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, how amazing you're dealing with people all over the world to make this happen. How did you find the team of people? How did you find your people in Alabama? How did you find your developers in Croatia? How were you recruiting
Some of it was reaching out in the group that I had joined, the business group, that's one of the, I love this network of, like-minded, they're all starting businesses, they're all
lady startup.
So all those sorts of things, like, that's where we, word of mouth, you want people that have worked with people that have done something great, So with our email flows, which is all sequencing, I just posted, like, does anyone work in Klaviyo? Anyone have a sequencing guru? And they went, yeah, this fantastic girl, she's in, Alabama or something. And her emails are, hey, you all, and like, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So, and it was literally, no word of a lie, I reckon it was 2 hours after Alison posted that. And I'd sent a payment across, and she was
online.
You're working. Yeah.
Like we're just, it was quite, I think you know when you sort of meet somebody, whether you connect or not.
Whether they're going to be able to help you with your business. And I guess when you've got to get good at that decision. I mean, 20 years of experience, working corporate in the city and everything gives you a good sense of what you can and can't accept, I guess. And I guess that's important if you're sitting up in Cairns, with the whole world at your fingertips, but you obviously need partners to make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely.
And so some of the tech that you're working with, so Klaviyo's your email platform, and then you've custom built your website, or how's that work?
So we're basing off a WooCommerce foundation for all of our website, and we've done a fair bit of custom dev off the back of that, and sort of customized some of the plugins that we've found to try and make some of these tools really sort of hum for us. So that's sort of part of the process at the moment. So we're on Slack channels quite a lot, going back and forth, and to keep things motoring along. But yeah, they're the sort of the key aspects, I guess, of where we're heading.
Yes, because I can imagine, especially if you've got the gift reminder kind of set up, and your email sequencing is going to be so important to getting that, prompting that customer to start the journey.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you kind of you differentiating yourself in that sense. What's the customer journey looking like for you?
Yeah, so I guess for us, we don't see ourselves as a gift boxing company. We see ourselves as a solution provider to solve some pain points. One thing that we haven't really talked about is our sort of corporate angle of selling into corporate. But for a corporate customer, for us, we are not providing them gifts. We are providing them a retention tool. We're helping them delight the really important people in their business with a really specific product that we know they'll enjoy because we've profiled them. Yeah. So, they're the sort of, so we when we're taking customers on a journey where it's not necessarily about selling them a box up front. It's about solving their problems, and making sure they never forget a date, and all of those sorts of things. So
we've already got one corporate client on, and COVID's a perfect example of how this works. They're a tourism-based business, which has obviously been heavily affected. And instead of everyone flying to Cairns to do a little forum up here to get to see all of the people and the products, because they can't happen, we're actually sending a Tropalicious box to all the people that would normally come to Far North Queensland, and all the products are from Far North Queensland. They're all these amazing products, and they're going to have, they're opening them all, they're having the cocktails and the food in the Zoom calls. It's all part of the, wonderful event that would have been in person and now is, technology virtual. So and fantastic.
You've got to think that now that all this international or national travel has stopped effectively during COVID, it is going to be really hard for businesses to allocate costs back into doing that as much as they did before, and certainly replacing it with things like more experiential gifts and gift ideas like this that can actually allow groups of people to kind of share an experience over a Zoom call.
Amazing.
Sounds perfect. It sounds absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, it sounds like that's going to be a big market for you.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Tell us a little bit about what your biggest lesson has been during this process of launching Tropalicious. Obviously, you'd come up, you'd taken over a flower farm business and transitioned over to Tropalicious. What has been kind of the biggest learning on that journey from transitioning from one business to another?
Yeah, I mean, well, the flower business is still going, so there's a bit of transitioning, but it's more, I guess, we're supercharging it. Is the way I look at it. And
the flowers will be in the gift boxes as well, won't they? So it's going to be complementary.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's one of our validation points, is that the people that open a box and they're tropicals, which are amazing, like the big claws and the color and the brightness that you don't see every day, they say, I didn't even know you could do this. And even my products that I was selling for the wall organization, people are like, I had no idea that this was even out there. So I think that's where we knew we were onto something, when the surprise and delight that something through a parcel opened up and it was like better than they expected, and they didn't even know that you could send all these things, which is, I think, the angle that we've sort of taken with that. So I guess, our learnings is just think big, expand, back yourself. And
also I think, we've done this in under 5 months. You know,
Yeah.
sort of from concept through. So you can achieve a fair bit when you get focused. And, you know, you certainly, as Alison keeps reminding me, you know, we don't have to have perfection every single time. So you can get a fair way down the path to validate whether this is going to fly or not, and then incrementally improve from there. And so that's, you know, that's something that, fingers crossed, we can keep improving. You know, we're in this for the long haul, so we don't expect, you know, Tropalicious to be bigger than Ben-Hur out the gate. That's not the way that you launch businesses with a long-term, you know, a long-term agenda. So yeah, we really want to get it right.
And I guess the risk is kind of reduced for you guys because you've got an existing, you know, business that's running perfectly well, and you've got another business that's kind of transitioning your interests into another area as well, and also complements. It's fantastic. Well, is there any piece of information you would have given yourself in hindsight if you'd known, you know, a hurdle that was particularly hard? You're like, oh, I could have, if I'd only done that, that would have been helpful. Something that has happened along the way.
I don't know. Maybe you should ask us that in 3 months' time.
I will.
I think that's I don't know. We're like I said, we're just blind.
We're still at the beginning.
We are.
Yes. And so I guess one of the things that I wanted to kind of understand a little bit about you guys, you kind of, Jason, you touched on the fact that you didn't expect it to kind of, you know, be setting the world on fire straight from the day one, and that you're in this for the long haul. But what are some of the things that you, I guess, will make you feel like this is a success when you do launch? What are those success factors for you both personally?
So I want golf on a Friday afternoon, every Friday afternoon.
That's a good goal.
That's fair enough. That's a good success factor. Yeah.
In all seriousness,
a bit more freedom.
We I think, you know, if everything goes tickety-boo and we have a successful product that is engaging and that we have that repeat customer coming back, it probably will be one of our challenges will be not to have it blow up too big, you know, because we don't want that. We really want to have a quality product and business that operates, but we don't want 50 staff.
And we're not going to end up having 50 boxes. We're sort of more the fine dining with the seasonal products that you go and they all sound amazing and you could pick any one of them. You're not getting a choice of, you know, 50 things covered to, you know, cover every base. We're certainly going to be really focused on that more, you know, select quality
and curating really hard on what's in a box, you know, really being quite purposeful about what's in. You know.
So just give us the names of your boxes, because I think this is fascinating.
Okay, so we have 5 ranges. So the ranges are Creative Genius range, which has 2 boxes in it, Ukulele Jam and Knots to Love. We have the Foodie Lover range, because there's always a foodie out there, and we have the Early Bird Eats and the Twilight Tasters, so a morning and an evening box. We have our Eco Crew collection, which is all the most amazing, sustainable, fantastic things that you have in the house now. So one's a house base and one's a garden base, so lots of herbs and plants growing, all your sort of the next one is what we all need at the moment. It's Serenity Seekers. So there's a Babelicious and a Blokelicious. So they're just absolutely gorgeous boxes that just are filled with some, you know, delightful me things. And lucky last, we have, what have I forgotten? Yoga, oh, of course, our active groovers.
That's the one.
I know, my girlfriend keeps going, when am I getting that box? Okay, our active groovers. Jason and I have always, active and movement is just a big part of our lives. So we've got the more balanced box, which is the Yogi box for male and female. They're both unisex. Lots of our boxes are unisex. So,
which is great.
Which is fantastic. And then we've got the Workout Warrior, which is the sweated up, you know, the sort of, so it's, you know, and again, both ages, both spectrums of, you know, fitness. So I think that, we're trying to really appeal to a broad market, but with really quality keeping items. Like, you know, we actually had a friend say to us at the beginning, we were sort of doing some research, and he said, "Oh, you know, I wish you all the best, but your gift boxes are probably not for me. Like, I'm all about quality items that you keep and that you can reuse."
And that's not what you get in a gift box.
Yeah, and you sort of like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so
that was a good sort of message for us. Is that okay?
yeah, and that was sort of, I guess,
It's true.
It's true. Like,
It's so true. You kind of feel a bit kind of, I guess, guilty having gift boxes, so much packaging and so much things that you just end up throwing away.
And it's just, you know, a bottle of wine and a chocolate and a candle. Like, it's sort of, which, you know, they're sort of
not thoughtful.
Not, and don't even go together. Like, you sort of go, how does that work?
And we have, I mean, to your point on packaging, like, we've really spent some time on working out ways that we can be clever with our packaging, even with our flowers, for instance. We've partnered with Beeswax Wraps Australia, who make a fantastic waxed cloth that you can use to replace Glad wraps and other things in the kitchen. We're wrapping our flowers in those, so that
we can keep them moist. We can have moisture.
Yeah.
But then you use that again afterwards.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. That's
gorgeous.
So everything, and also with the flowers, we have the option. The preserved movement, the dry flower movement is so enormous. So we have a dried flower option, we have a fresh flower option, and we have a plant option. So obviously we love nature. We're, you know,
living and breathing it.
Yeah, but I think it's sort of like everyone's gone and someone bought the flowers, someone bought a gift, and, you know, it's all in one. Like, you have this whole amazing, the surprise and delight, the unboxing experience, which I've really concentrated on, and, you know, that's what I think when you asked about success for me, I just love some validation that
see some smiles. Yeah,
that the people are just, you know, just loving this, that the receiver and the giver both experience such an easy, joyful experience with Trouble Express.
You're going to have to tell the giver what time the receiver's receiving it, so they can be there to watch their face, because I think that's
exactly
a joyous bit that you know, the receiver's going to have this amazing experience and the giver isn't actually going to see it. How are they going to connect those two things?
I know, that's a challenging one. So yeah, we're trying to sort of get a fair bit of messaging in the box around all of that to try and
record yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't open till Tuesday.
That's right. Oh, that sounds awesome. I just cannot wait to see the boxes come to life. And Alison, you've done an amazing job. Jason, you were saying the boxes are big, but you've designed the boxes, haven't you, Alison?
Yes, I have. So,
and they're colourful.
They're colourful. Would you like to see one?
Yes, show us.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got some?
Huge and colourful. Oh.
Yeah, so they're pretty big.
They're like big flower boxes, and they're going to be jam-packed full of gifts.
Yeah. So that's a good example, I guess, of the little, two different sizes for two different freighting options.
Right. So different price points for the two different sizes?
Yeah. So we've made a decision from a freighting point of view.
Beautiful, Alison.
To offer free freight always. So, you know, we just think that that's sort of our part of the gift, is to just, free freight it around the country. Typically 1 to 3 days, we should be able to get anywhere.
That's incredible. I mean, that is great for the last minute shoppers who've forgotten until the last moment as well. Yeah. And free freight. I mean, it really does make a difference, doesn't it? When you see free freight, you just you just buy. There's no decision there. Yeah,
that's right. And you know, there's some interesting stats that I think the top 100 online stores in Australia, I think only 12 out of the top 100 offer free freight, which I found surprising.
Wow.
Yeah, I read that the other day, but I don't know. We just think that's
again a solution. We're just trying to make it all super easy. There's no surprises. Yep, you know, it's just a
good experience from start to finish. Yeah.
Yep, exactly that.
Well, look, you are a husband and wife team, and you've been, you know, on this journey for a long time, since uni, in fact, together, getting to where you are now. How do you make it all work? Because you've been, you know, you're working in close confines as a husband and wife, with the children going through high school and school, and now building a business together. Talk us through that.
I think that
this is the bit people want to know about.
I know. Look, he certainly drives me mad. There's no doubt. I am human. He is human.
I think you do need to nominate a boss. And so, you know, you've got to say, this is my area of expertise and that's yours, and we need to respect that. So I think once you get clear on that, that helps a lot.
Did that take a while to get clear on though?
I sort of probably nailed Jason a long time ago. Don't try and be the designer.
I've had a couple of goes.
Yeah, he likes to have a go. Yeah. So that was a very long ago learned lesson for Jason.
There's only one designer in this relationship.
Only one, and I don't even try with technology. I just go, Jason, please help me. So I think that, yeah, where we have strengths and where we have differences and where we have complementary, it sort of works for us. I think we're both very easygoing. We both say it if we think it, like we'll just, you know, we'll both talk about it. But I think that with Tropalicious, this is what we want long term. This is sort of, we're doing this for us and, you know, for being able to be located where we want, to work the hours that we want, to have, you know, the freedom to travel when we're allowed to again. All those sorts of things. So Jason's Mr. Personality. I'm a lot more reserved. Jason's the big picture, like I said. I'm sort of more the detail. So I think that when you need someone to be the spokesperson, we've got someone. When you need someone to be, so me forming the relationships with all of our partners is absolutely easy. Like that, for me, it's just like one of my sort of clients. But to then, you know, do sales and corporate, Jason steps up, which is fantastic. So we know each other so well. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We know the strengths, we know the weaknesses. Jason knows, you know, when I'm not comfortable with something and he'll, you know, take it on, and vice versa. Like, you know, it's just sort of those.
So almost the experience and the journey to get here has set up the foundations for being able to do this really quite easily. And like you say, in 5 months' time, that's a super quick amount of time to be able to launch a new business from scratch. But obviously understanding and working so well together and the complements that you can kind of provide each other's, you know, skill set is what's so valuable there.
It does feel like it's all been leading to this. Like we sort of often look at it and the skills that maybe you didn't even know that you've tapped into, you learned somewhere, or, you know, we have between two people covered a lot of bases ourselves on starting this, which has been a nice little,
And it sounds that you both know where you know, have gaps and where to look outside of the two of you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, marketing's a classic one. I mean, we both put a hand up and said, we need digital collective. You know, we need somebody to help us, guide us in, you know, how do we bring that sort of, you know, how do we connect with the consumer that we're trying to target and those sorts of things. So, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I think that's what we try and recognize. If something like we learn new things every day, but if something's taking you a really long time and you don't have a love for it and it's becoming a real chore, it's straight on the delegate list. Like it's just, you know, and we do, like, there is only the two of us and we're on a startup budget and we're trying to do as much as we can, but we're also very realistic that you can be forever. Like, we'll never sell a box if we keep doing it ourselves and we launch in 5 years' time. So, you know, this is, we're very realistic.
And how do you separate your kind of work time from your personal time and kind of, you know, is there any separation at the moment, or is it all about just 24/7 business launching?
Luckily, Jason's a morning person and I'm more of an evening person. So he knows, do not talk to Alison until, like, you know, he's out, he's done about 3 hours of his work. I start a bit more gently. I sort of give myself time for exercise and my self-time in the morning. So I start really clear and really calm and my cup of tea, whereas Jason just goes, one coffee grinder's on at 4 a.m. and he's straight into the office sort of thing. So
wow.
We have I can't remember where it came from, but it's been an underlying sort of measuring stick for us for a while, is what we call the 2.5 rule, which is you can only do 2.5 things well at any one point in time. So 1 point goes to family, typically 1 point goes to work typically.
Your career.
Your career, and then you've sort of got
Self-
half a point to sort of float about.
Well, one's self-time, so whether it's
Yeah.
exercise or whatever. So if you're doing lots of exercise, then you're either doing less work or you're less home family time. Or if you're doing lots of family time, then you're either...
Yeah.
So one of them's got to give.
And you can kind of, we think you can probably ramp it up to sort of 3, a little bit over 3, if you're really under the pump, but you can't maintain that. So
Just for a little while.
yeah, you can sort of do that for a little while, but then something goes pear-shaped eventually.
Yeah.
So we've been sitting on 3 for the last 5 months.
Well, it's good, but it's going to come to an end, right? So you've got to turn it down a little bit. It's probably not for a few months yet.
That's right, exactly.
And we have teenage children, which we taught to cook early on, and we call them our flatmates, not our children. So everyone's got to pitch in. Someone's got to, get the washing off the line. Someone's got to bring groceries home. So I think it would be very challenging with small children. So we're at the right stage that this is working for us, and that's probably why everything's been leading to this for us. Like it is. It seems that it's...
doing it 10 years ago would have been a lot harder.
Yeah. You've got your kids are just finishing school and out of school. Is that right?
Yeah. So Taylor's 19. She went to uni and then got sent home. And our son Mac is in year 11. So he's only got one more year to go next year. So yeah, we're sort of at the end of it. They're pretty awesome,
independent,
and they're pretty independent.
Yeah. Amazing. And is starting a business everything you imagined it to be? From scratch? Is it as good as you'd imagined? Is it harder? What's the experience been like for you both?
I think that I've always had my own business, so it sort of doesn't, like, it feels exciting and new and anxious and all those sort of things, but it's not as if we left an office job to do something totally different. It doesn't feel very foreign, like
a natural transition.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And is there a secret to the success? What do you think is the secret for you guys? It's just obviously a culmination of where you've come from, but is there something special that you think has really kind of enabled this?
You've certainly both got to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think that's our thing. We both have the same where we want to end up, I guess.
And I think you've got to have running your own business is hard. And anybody that says otherwise, I think, will discover eventually that it is hard because, so you've got to have enough grit and enough commitment to say, I'm okay with that.
And similar work ethic, I think. It would be very hard if someone was doing, an unbalanced sort of level, but we're both, it means it's for both of us, so it means the same amount to both of us. And
it's, and I think the other thing that, you've got to be doing something, everybody always says to do something that you love, but when you're talking about your own business, you cannot look at it from a financial point of view as, being right at the forefront. You've got to have something that you just want to get up and do in the morning. So, because there are times that you don't want to do that. And so you've got to have that light at the end of the tunnel that this is going to be fun.
And I guess from what you were describing with the products and the service, in fact, that you're delivering to customers, you feel passionate about this kind of solving this problem. Yeah,
and even just with the flowers, we'll get calls from people who, somebody's ordered some flowers and the flowers have been delivered to somebody, and they call us up and go, "Oh my God, so and so's in tears because of the flowers that you sent," and you go, That's
nice.
Yeah.
That's happiness.
That's a nice product to send. Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to do something every day, make the end result the happiness, smiles, solutions, everyone feel it.
Yeah, it's not a bad product.
Yeah, that's right. It's Australian products as well, and supporting local businesses. I mean, it's an important thing to do, the thing that you're doing. So we're going to transition into a bit of the podcast that we do with each of our guests, which is basically ask them a couple of questions that we delve into a little bit more about them personally. And the first one I wanted to ask you about is, either one of you, has there been a particular book that has changed your life?
I'm a reader. Yeah. I love books. I read every day. So I think that there's probably two recently, actually. One will be no surprise. It's from the founder of the business school that I did, Marie Forleo, and it's called Everything is Figure Outable. And it's I say it every time, every day. If something new comes up, or if we are challenged with something, we just go, everything's figure outable. Like it's a fantastic way to look at everything.
I'm going to check her out.
Oh, it's a fantastic mindset. Yeah, it's really good. And the other one is an Aussie, and it's Denise Duffield Thomas, and the Chillpreneur.
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 Oh,
so,
that sounds good too.
So fantastic. So she's basically, you don't have to work harder to earn more. You should just, you know, it's just this whole mindset and this, it's self-belief and work to what you want. Like you don't have to, you know, be putting in 16-hour days. Like you should be able to earn more by doing less. Like she's just got this fantastic, again, it's just the way you look at it. So I quote both of those a lot in our little daily, you know, situations that we're navigating, I guess. So yeah, they're both awesome books.
We've had some amazing book recommendations through this podcast series, and we're going to put them at the end of the series, a compilation of all the books together, and those two are going to be on it for sure. Thank you. And what about habits? Have you got special habits or particular habits that you really, I mean, you talked about your different times of days and different styles, but in terms of how you both run successfully as humans, what are those habits that kind of you shine?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly, I'm a 5 a.m. sort of person, you know, so my habit is certainly to get up and get into it. I think we got a fair bit of discipline out of, so when we came up here, we met a bunch of crazy adults up here who one night, after a few too many wines, we decided that we'd enter an Ironman. And we've done like 3 now. And
Ironman?
half Ironman. But still, you're talking 6 hours sort of sitting out there. Anyway, I guess the point is that you get a lot of discipline out of managing, you know, when you're training for something like that, and also doing, you know, doing your work at the same time. And I think that that's certainly become a habit forming thing for us, is that we get really structured in what our day looks like, you know, a different.
And finding time for exercise.
It's really important.
Yeah.
I think that I've, just again, recently I've always trained. So physical has always been a no-brainer, that you know that you have to, you know, keep your health and, you know, ongoing. But I've started on my mind, I've started to more yoga and meditation. And so that's my morning. So my morning starts really quiet and calm for me, and I've done everything I need to do before anyone else gets up, so that there's no rush with the kids. I've had my own time, and that was the joke about Jason. Like, he knows that, you know, that hour in the house is he's already out in the office. I won't be in the office. I won't have checked emails. I won't have looked at my phone. I don't want to see any of that until I've just sort of, you know, just had that lovely start to my day, my cup of tea, and then I'm ready to take it.
What do you do to meditate? Do you have a special spot, or?
I get up with the puppy dog. I've got a gorgeous sausage dog, Dax. So we get up together and I feed him, have a big glass of water, and then we sit on the couch. He comes back in, settles straight in my little crossed leg lap into a little ball. And I just do a guided meditation. I sort of do about a 20-minute meditation each morning. And for me, you will know, I said I was nervous about this, and that's outgoing is not a big thing for me. So it just sort of helps me just, you know, reaffirm that belief that you can do it, and, you know, that it's, and then I do yoga. So I love exercise. So then I'm just doing it. I just, YouTube it and put it to the big TV, you know, and off I go. So yeah.
So many people now seem to be transitioning into meditation. Yoga used to be it for everyone, but now I feel that has kind of advanced into the meditation space, and a lot of people I know are really living and breathing by their daily meditation, no matter how long or short it is, just to give themselves a little bit of peace and clarity in their mind. And I've never done it, but I'm going to, you know, I'm going to get on that journey at some point. I can feel it.
I think that until you've done it, I think I've realized that I've never ever sat still and quietly for 20 minutes of any given day. From the minute that you're up to the minute that you turn out the light, there's like, even if you have a cup of tea, if I have a cup of tea, I'm still doing something, I'm checking something, or like, it's just such an astounding thing to think you never, ever, ever sit still and quietly, ever.
It's a
like,
realization.
Unless you're asleep. Yeah, it's massive. Like, I went, wow, of course, of course you would feel more calm after. Of course everything would be clearer and more.
Seems so obvious.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm about 5 months in and I'm like,
well, I'm gonna do it. You've inspired me. And what about when you are feeling overwhelmed or feeling anxious or feeling like, it doesn't sound like you ever feel unmotivated actually, but kind of maybe you've been disappointed by some outcome. What's the way that you guys individually push through that feeling and kind of move on? How do you stay positive? You seem so positive, by the way, and very complimentary to each other, but I'm assuming you do have a few down days sometimes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I think you've got to put things into perspective and know that, we're selling flowers or we're selling gift boxes. We're not solving, world famine crisis or anything like, so if something goes a bit pear-shaped, you've got to be able to roll with that. So I think getting a bit of perspective is important, and we certainly have our moments where we blow the cobwebs out and just sort of don't do anything, go out with mates. And
I think mine is separation, like, because we live here and we work here. Mine is, as soon as I can get away from the farm, whether it's a walk, a run, meeting up with friends, just heading out, it's like you leave and it all stays. You go and do your stuff, and then when you come back, it's all here again.
You can deal with it.
You can deal with it, yeah. So I really like that. And I guess 20 years I've worked from home, even though it's been in a separate building with staff, it's always been on the premises of where I've lived. So I've always had that step away as my separation, I guess. So.
And is there a particular kind of philosophy or mantra that you live by? I mean, you said before that you were quoting your business philosophy. That's your new mantra? Is that?
Yeah, probably my long-term one is, I love the KISS rule: keep it simple, stupid. I'm a firm believer that you should just, less is more. And in design, that's, where to stop rather than keep adding. It's all, when it's when it's wrong, but you don't sort of know when it's right. Like, you can spot the obvious. So I try and keep that as a rule. And a few of the new ones are progress over perfection and eliminate, automate, delegate. They've got some great ones.
You've got some good ones. We're going to be taking these and putting these as quotes.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So,
Jason, what about you?
I don't know. Ever since university, I've lived by, it's a part of human nature to get over things. And, so that's always been a bit of a cheeky one for me, because it's kind of like you can push the boundaries with people and eventually they'll forgive you.
I think it's in relation to me.
So it's not one Alison really likes, but
it's one that you've been living by.
I kind of do live by it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And look, and this one is a bit of a strange question, but you can answer it anyway. You've got the podium to talk to people out there in the world, and if everyone was listening, what would be the message that you would be kind of spreading at this point in time?
Oh, mine for my kids has always been, be kind, show kindness. It's free, it's simple, it affects people. Like, I just don't see it enough, sometimes. And when you do see it, it's just pure joy. Like, kindness is amazing. It's my favorite thing. So.
Yeah, for me, I think it's also now is the most important time. So not yesterday or not tomorrow. Just
focus on the present.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
And
can you see your kids have taken those messages on board?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we like our kids.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, they're fun.
This has been a fantastic chat, and absolutely, kind of exciting news to hear the launch is just only a few weeks away. It's been awesome finding out a bit more about you two personally, and from a business perspective, how you've become the owners and founders of Tropalicious and on this journey. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to Digital Collective. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us. We need you.
Thank you.
If you enjoy this podcast, subscribe via your preferred podcast platform for more episodes of A Moment with Modern Mentors.